Welcome back, YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about Groudon, one of my personal favorite legendaries. He is an amazing Pokemon. I love this one. Maybe not quite as much as I love my Rayquaza, but I'll be honest with you, I use Groudon a whole lot more when it comes to battles. He's just a lot beefier and does a lot more damage in my opinion. So let's go ahead and take a look at his stat spread here. He does have a huge defensive stat here at 140. Special defense 90, speed 90, a huge attack stat at 150, and then special attack 100, followed by HP at 100 as well. So you can see that he has a lot of bulk, but he also has that physical attack, which is going to make him just a massive threat on the field in general. But his defense at 140 also makes him able to eat a lot of damage and is a good switch in, especially when you combo him with his Drought ability if you have other fire types on your team. Okay, now when it comes to abilities, unfortunately, Groudon is not going to get its hidden ability in this game. I tried to give it an ability patch and everything, so if there's a way that you're getting Desolate Land, let me know, because it's obviously way better than Drought. But Drought itself is a great ability. Basically, it's going to automatically set the harsh sunlight the second Groudon hits the field. So whether that's at the very start of the battle or you do a swap or a pivot, he's going to set that sunlight, which is obviously going to massively increase the damage the fire attacks are going to do, and it's going to have some other effects to water type attacks coming in. They're going to be decreased in damage essentially, so that's really nice as well. Plus things like Solar Beam, instead of having to charge a full 2 turns to use, is actually going to just be able to use that turn like a normal attack. So the harsh sunlight's very good. It's going to be able to combo with your fire type attackers really well, especially something like Charizard that has that solar power ability, which is going to boost its special attack in the harsh sunlight. So this is a very cool ability, a very nice ability, and Groudon is one that can use it the best with his stats. Now with resistances, Groudon has 3 different resistances. One is going to be an immunity to electric typing. This of course is amazing because if you're using things that are going to be flyers, you can actually have Groudon in the back. Once they switch something in that's going to be an electric type damage that's going to hurt your flyer, you can swap your Groudon out instead of your Togekiss or whatever it is and make your opponent waste a turn. And then if you really want to combo this, you want to make sure that you have your fire type attackers maybe already out on the field. So start one with a fire like a Magmortar or something along with your Togekiss. Then you switch the Groudon in. Now the Magmortar is doing way more fire damage because of the harsh sunlight. So this is a possibility for you as well, but definitely a great immunity to have. Poison and Rock is going to be the other immunities that Groudon has here. It's going to be 50% resistance to Poison and Rock types as well. Let's talk weaknesses here. So he is going to have 3 different weaknesses: Water, Grass, and Ice, and all of those are going to be a 2x weakness. Now, remember, Water will be reduced when the harsh sunlight is out and about, so it's not going to be doing nearly as much damage as it normally would by itself. So essentially that water will be reduced by 50% in damage when coming in on Groudon when the harsh sunlight's going. But he still does have the grass and ice weaknesses at the 2x, and those are going to be a true weakness. No real alterations for that Groudon has. But otherwise, just be careful of those, especially with ice, because there is quite a few ice counters going around to counter the Garchomps and whatnot. So just be careful of ice, but grass is also a threat for him too. If you're finding this video helpful at all or you're liking it, please drop a like and subscribe. Also, guys, feel free to come over and visit us at the Twitch channel anytime you'd like. We do a lot of battles, raids, and trades every day, mostly Pokemon content as well as on Pokemon Go. You'll find the links down below in the description. Other than that, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of this video. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the first moveset here. This is going to be a mostly physical offense with a little bit of bulk. We've got 252 EVs going into attack, 196 going into HP, and then 60 into speed, just to give us a little bit of momentum there. He's already got a pretty decent base speed, but we want to make sure that we're going to outspeed some things that are in the same speed tier as the Groudon. And then the HP is just going to kind of add to his bulk. Now, you could supplement that in to one of his defenses, like special defenses if you want, but I find that it just works a little better just straight into HP. And then attack, I mean, we don't need to talk about why we're doing that. He's just a monster. The moveset is going to be Overheat, Swords Dance, Earthquake, and Rock Slide. And I'll talk about Overheat in a moment. Swords Dance is obviously going to give us a nice boost to our attack stat, and this is going to make the Groudon absolutely just demolishing dangerous on the other for your opponents. It's going to be absolute insanity when he hits things. If you pair him with a flyer and you've got Earthquake, now you're using Earthquake with a +2 on Swords Dance and just demolishing everything on the other side because your flyer doesn't get hit. And then Rock Slide is obviously great because not only is it a nice counter for anything that's going to be flying, but it also has that ability to flinch. It hits both targets on the other side, so it's a really nice kind of move there. Now, if you did want to maybe take that out and put in something that was a single target heavy hitting attack, then I would probably use Stone Edge, so that would be a possibility for you. Otherwise, I would just stick with Rock Slide. Now we have Overheat here because, one, Groudon doesn't have a physical fire move, as far as I can tell, in this Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl remake. And Overheat is probably going to be the best move for him. So we have Overheat on because it does a crazy amount of damage, more than the other fire attacks, and it's going to lower your special attack, but because we're a physical attack set, if we harshly lower our special attack after using it one time on one thing in the heat, in the sunlight, that's going to take a crazy amount of damage from it, then who cares? Who cares that we lowered our special attack? We've still got a +2 from our Swords Dance for our physical attacks, and that's really what we focused on with this moveset. So Overheat is the move that I went with here for the Fire Stab bonus. As far as ability, item, and nature, we're going to go obviously with Drought, but the nature is going to be Adamant. We're going to really focus on that attack stat and try to make that as just physically powerful as we possibly can. There's a lot of items you can go with here. You have a lot of choices based off of your team composition and how you're going to play the Groudon. You could do something like the Heat Rock, which is going to increase the amount of turns that the harsh sunlight's going to be out on the field for, out on the terrain. So if you've got a heavy fire team, then maybe this is something that you want to, definitely put on your Groudon. Life Orb, obviously going to boost his attack. Leftovers, he's a little more on the bulky side, so this is going to give him a little bit of HP back every turn. And the Figgy Berry for the Adamant nature, this is going to heal him 50% when he gets to a quarter of his HP. So it kind of puts him back in the game. And he's a little on the bulky side, especially with that HP being putting the EVs into HP. So it's a little less dangerous than having it on something with a very low HP count, where if you get to 25%, you might just die anyway. So it's a little more safe on the Groudon to use this Figgy Berry. Okay, the next set here, we're going to be focusing on bulk. So we're going to really be trying to kind of Hulk out the defenses on the Groudon with this set here. 252 into special defense, 252 into HP, and 4 into defense. Special defense is his lower stat, so we want to kind of give that as much of a boost as we can here. And defense, we're actually going to work with some bulk up to actually increase our defense here. So as far as the moveset, we've got Stone Edge, Bulk Up, Bulldoze, and Stealth Rock. Now this is more of a bulky set here, so we're not going to be focusing on crazy all-out attacks or Swords Dance. Now you could put Swords Dance on here if you wanted to make just a bulky offensive Groudon, but this is just a bulk support Groudon here. So Stone Edge, that's our one kind of really heavy hitting attack here. Bulldoze is nice because it is going to get that stab bonus, but also it's going to reduce the speed of your opponents on the opposite side. And then Stone Edge kind of goes along with the Bulldoze in case there is a flyer. Now you've got a really heavy hitting, super effective attack against that flyer. So they kind of go hand in hand there. Stealth Rock, it's just, again, he's going to be more that support type. So you're going to use your Stealth Rock at the beginning of the map, and then anything that gets switched in and out on the opponent's side of the field is going to take that rock type damage every time they come in. And if it's something like a Charizard, it does a crazy amount of damage to the Charizard. So Bulk Up, just to clarify and go into more detail on it, is going to increase your defense and your physical attack 1 every time you use it. So this will give you a little bit more attack damage, but really it's going to focus on the defensive value going up. Now, because we are going to make this a bulk type Groudon, we're going to use the Careful nature, because again, we're working on our defense on this, our defenses on this. And as far as the item, you can either use the Heat Rock or the Leftovers. Now, I do like the Leftovers more for this moveset here, but you could use the Heat Rock again, depending on your team and what you have switching in and out. Okay, our final set here, this is going to be more of a fun set. I don't usually use a special attack set for Groudon, but you can, because his base special attack isn't like 60. It's actually pretty decent. So we're going to go ahead and just do a fun set here with special attack. Very similar to the first build as far as the EV spread, except with the special. So special attack 252, HP 196, and speed 60. So again, just getting him out of that speed tier, making sure he's ahead of everything else there, giving him a little bit of bulk, and then working on his special attack. As far as the moveset, we're going to either use Fire Blast or Flamethrower here, Solar Beam, Earth Power, and Thunderbolt. Now, the reason we're going to use either or for Fire Blast or Flamethrower is great because it does have a base power of 90, so it's nothing to smirk at. And with your stab bonus, that's pretty good, especially in the harsh sunlight. So it still does a crazy amount of damage. Fire Blast will demolish anything that it hits, but it does have that accuracy check. So just be careful of that. If you want to make sure you're hitting every turn, Flamethrower is the way to go. If you want to make sure that you're demolishing things in one hit, then Fire Blast is probably the way to go. It just depends on your play style and your preference. I like Flamethrower in this case. Solar Beam is just because, why not? It's great coverage. We've got the harsh sunlight going. Instead of 2 turns, it's 1 turn. So Solar Beam is a good counter here for a water type that comes out on us. This is a great move to be able to put in for coverage for the Groudon here. Earth Power is going to be his other stab bonus move. It does a good amount of damage and 90 power, and it's just a good move. It's just a good special attack move for him to have stab bonus with. And Thunderbolt, because again, this is a good coverage type move. There are a lot of other special attacks that the Groudon can actually learn. It has a very wide coverage pool when it comes to special attack, but I do like the Thunderbolt here. Gives me a little bit of extra options against water types. Let's say I send the Groudon out, and then we set the harsh sunlight, but all of a sudden the next turn a Politoed comes out, and now it sets the drizzle. Now I'm in a really, really bad situation here, but I could still use Thunderbolt instead of worrying about using Solar Beam and try to either knock that water type Pokemon out or just switch out in general. Okay, ability item nature, we're going to go obviously Drought, but we're going to do Modest to work on that special attack. That's what this attack, or this moveset all is. It's just all special. So Modest nature here, boost the special attack up. And then very similar to the first one, Heat Rock or Life Orb, Leftovers, or Expert Belt is what we're going to use here instead of the Berry. Because it's a special attack, it's a little more interesting. I don't want to not utilize every little bit of special attack that we have. So I like the Expert Belt or the Life Orb for this more than the Heat Rock or the Leftovers. In order of preference, it would probably be Life Orb, Expert Belt, Heat Rock, Leftovers, if I had to actually number it through. Alright guys, that's it for the Groudon. Groudon's one of my personal favorites. I hope you get a chance to use him because he's, like I said, just amazing in every way. I love using Groudon. But if this helped you out, guys, please like and subscribe to the channel. It's free, and it definitely helps us out here, and I certainly do appreciate it. Otherwise, thank you again for hanging out, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. But until then, take care.